The return. The massive research vessel Meridian emerged from the Fold space tunnel, its sleek hull shimmering as it transitioned back to normal space. Captain Loreth stood on the command deck, six-fingered hands clasped behind his back, bioluminescent skin pulsing with anticipation. The star system appeared exactly as their records indicated. A yellow star with 8 planets, the third one blue and inviting. Sensors online. First Officer Tallis announced, her delicate fronds waving gently. Confirming Sol system match at 99.8% certainty. Excellent. Loreth nodded. 500,000 years since the initial survey mission. Let's see how our primitive apes are progressing. The Meridian had been dispatched by the Galactic Scientific Consortium as part of their standard follow-up protocol. The initial survey team had cataloged Earth as a Class 4 evolving world with promising but primitive dominant species. Standard procedure dictated a return visit after sufficient time had passed for meaningful evolutionary development. Beginning preliminary scans, Science Officer Neva reported, her cybernetic interfaces connecting directly with the ship's systems. Scanning atmospheric composition, surface features, radiation signatures. She suddenly fell silent. Report, Science Officer, Loreth prompted. Captain, I'm detecting. This can't be right. Neva's voice trembled. Artificial satellites. Thousands of them. Loreth's skin flashed deep purple, the Valoran equivalent of shock. Impossible. The dominant species was pre-industrial. They were using stone tools when we visited. Continuing scans, Neva said, detecting massive energy signatures, artificial structures on their moon. Settlements on the 4th planet. Mining operations throughout the asteroid belt. Captain, they've achieved spaceflight. Advanced spaceflight. The command deck fell silent. The Valoran Consortium had studied thousands of evolving worlds. Their most optimistic models suggested that a Stone Age species might achieve basic agriculture in 500,000 years. Perhaps early metallurgy. Not interplanetary travel. Could another spacefaring race have claimed this system? Tallis suggested. Running biometric analysis, Neva replied. Confirming signatures match evolved forms of species Homo sapiens. It's them, Captain. The apes evolved. Before Loreth could respond, the communication system chimed. Captain, the communications officer reported, we're receiving a directed transmission. From Earth. That's not possible, Loreth whispered. Our cloaking system. The transmission is perfectly calibrated to penetrate our cloaking frequencies, the officer interrupted. They know exactly where we are. Loreth's skin rippled with distress patterns. Put it through. A holographic display materialized in the center of the command deck. A human figure appeared, bipedal, lacking fur except atop its head, wearing a simple blue uniform with silver insignias. Greeting Vessel Meridian, the human said in perfect Valoran speech. I am Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. On behalf of the United Earth Government, welcome back to our solar system. Stunned silence enveloped the command deck. The human not only knew their language, but had somehow identified their ship by name. This is Captain Loreth of the Galactic Scientific Consortium vessel Meridian. Loreth replied cautiously. How do you know our language? How did you detect us? Admiral Chen smiled. We've had a long time to prepare for your return, Captain. Approximately 498,732 years, to be precise. Ever since we discovered your abandoned research outpost in what you called Region 27B, we now call it Antarctica. Loreth exchanged alarmed glances with his officers. The initial survey team had established several monitoring outposts, but had supposedly retrieved all of them before departure. Impossible, Tallis whispered. All outposts were recovered. All except one. Admiral Chen corrected, her smile unwavering. The one that malfunctioned during a geomagnetic storm. Your retrieval team couldn't locate it beneath 3 kilometers of ice. We found it 250,000 years ago. It changed everything. Loreth's mind raced. An intact research outpost contained not just observational data, but basic educational programs, technical specifications, star charts, even rudimentary linguistic databases. "We would like to invite a delegation from your vessel to Earth," Admiral Chen continued. "We've prepared appropriate environmental conditions based on your physiology." "And how would you know our physiological requirements?" Lorath asked, though he already feared the answer. "Your research was quite thorough, Captain. As was ours, once we understood how to read it." The Admiral's expression remained pleasant but firm. "We'll transmit coordinates for your shuttle. Our escort vessels are already en route to your position." As if on cue, Neva called out, "Captain," detecting multiple vessels approaching. They were hidden from our sensors until now. The tactical display showed 6 sleek spacecraft emerging from concealed positions throughout the system. They had been there all along, cloaked by technology that exceeded Valoran capabilities. "We look forward to your visit, Captain," Admiral Chen said. "There's much to discuss." Chen out. The transmission ended, leaving the Valorans staring at empty space. "Options?" Lorath asked his officers, skin now pulsing with urgent patterns. "We should retreat and report to the consortium," Talus suggested. "This level of advancement is unprecedented. It violates all developmental models. They've tracked us through our cloaking field and positioned ships to intercept," the tactical officer noted. "If their technology truly surpasses ours, retreat may not be possible." Lorath considered this grim assessment. In 500,000 years, humanity had not only developed spaceflight but technology that potentially surpassed their own. All because of one forgotten outpost. "Prepare a shuttle," he finally ordered. "I will leave the delegation myself, and transmit a priority message to the consortium. Tell them." He paused, searching for words that could convey the gravity of their discovery. "Tell them we may have inadvertently created something remarkable and potentially dangerous." The Valoran shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, escorted by 2 human fighter craft whose design principles seemed strangely familiar to Lorath. Looking through the viewport, he was astonished by what he saw. Vast cities sprawled across continents, yet large areas remained preserved as wilderness. The oceans were clean and blue, showing none of the industrial pollution typically associated with developing technological civilizations. "Their development appears balanced," Neva observed. "Most species experience severe ecological damage during their industrial phase. Perhaps having our research accelerated their understanding of environmental stewardship as well," Talus suggested. The shuttle landed at a massive complex nestled in a mountain range. As the ramp extended, Lorath was surprised to feel a familiar atmosphere greet him. The temperature, gravity, and atmospheric composition had been precisely calibrated to match Valoran homeworld conditions. A delegation of humans waited at the bottom of the ramp. At their head stood Admiral Chen, flanked by various officials in different colored uniforms. "Welcome to Earth, Captain Lorath," she greeted them in person. "I hope our environmental adjustments are comfortable." "Remarkably so," Lorath admitted, stepping forward with his delegation. "Your knowledge of our needs is unsettling." "Knowledge is power, Captain." A tall human male in dark clothing stepped forward. "I am Director Marcus Reed, United Earth Intelligence Service. Your research outpost provided us with extensive information about 17 spacefaring civilizations, including your own. The humans led them through a vast complex bustling with activity." Lorath noticed that while the humans seemed relaxed, security was evident everywhere, subtle but effective. They entered a large circular room with a round table at its center. Above the table hung a holographic display showing both the solar system and, to Lorath's shock, the Valoran home system nearly 6,000 light-years away. "You know the location of our homeworld," he stated, his skin flashing with alarm patterns. "We know many things," Reed replied calmly. "Your outpost contains star charts covering most of this galactic arm." As they settled around the table, Admiral Chen activated a holographic presentation. "Let me share some of our history since your last visit." The display showed primitive humans discovering the alien outpost buried in ice. Then, a rapid acceleration of development, stone tools giving way to metals, simple machines evolving into complex devices, all far faster than natural development would suggest. The discovery unified our species, Chen explained. National boundaries became meaningless when we realized we weren't alone in the universe. Wars ceased. Resources were redirected. Education and scientific advancement became our highest priorities. All because you found our outpost, Loreth said quietly. All because you judged us prematurely, Reed corrected. Your people cataloged Earth as a primitive world, not worthy of contact for another million years. That knowledge, that dismissal, became our greatest motivation. The presentation continued, showing humanity's expansion throughout their solar system. Colonies on Mars, habitats in Venus's clouds, mining operations throughout the asteroid belt, research stations around the gas giants. You've accomplished in 500,000 years what takes most species millions, Neva observed, unable to hide her scientific curiosity despite the tense situation. Necessity drives invention, said a new voice. An elderly human female in white garments approached the table. I am Dr. Olivia Zhang, lead xenoscientist. Your outpost's educational programs were designed to be accessible to young Valorans. For us, they represented both a challenge and a treasure map. Each breakthrough revealed new possibilities. Loreth listened as Dr. Zhang explained how humans had reverse-engineered Valoran technology, then improved upon it. They had mastered fusion power within 10,000 years of finding the outpost, achieved primitive space travel within 50,000, developed their own version of fold space technology in just over 200,000 years. A remarkable achievement, Loreth acknowledged, but also concerning. Your development has been unnatural. Admiral Chen's expression hardened slightly. Is it unnatural to learn from others, Captain? Or merely efficient? Before Loreth could respond, an alert sounded. Director Reed checked a small device, then nodded to Admiral Chen. Our long-range sensors have detected a consortium fleet entering the outer system, Chen informed them. 7 vessels, including what appear to be 3 warships. They'll arrive within 12 hours. She leaned forward, her gaze intense. Are they responding to your message, Captain? Or were they already on their way? Loreth's skin pulsed with truthfulness patterns, something he knew the humans could likely interpret. I don't know. A standard research mission wouldn't warrant military escort. Then perhaps, Reed suggested, the consortium knew more about what happened here than you were told. The implication hung in the air, that perhaps the abandoned outpost had not been an accident. That perhaps humanity's accelerated development had been anticipated, even planned. What happens now? Loreth asked. Admiral Chen stood. Now, Captain, we show you what humanity has really accomplished. And then together, we greet your fleet. As Loreth followed the humans deeper into the complex, he couldn't shake the feeling that the real revelations were yet to come. Humanity had not just survived and evolved. They had transformed themselves into something the Galactic Consortium had never encountered before. And in 12 hours, his people would have to face that reality. The reckoning. The Valoran delegation stood in stunned silence as the massive doors parted, revealing Earth's strategic command center. Buried 2 kilometers beneath the Rocky Mountains, the facility hummed with quiet efficiency as thousands of humans monitored holographic displays, showing not just Earth's solar system, but vast regions of the galaxy beyond. This is one of 7 command centers coordinating Earth's defense and exploration efforts, Admiral Chen explained as she led them inside. From here, we monitor all known spacefaring civilizations within 8,000 light-years. Impossible, Science Officer Neva whispered. You can't possibly have the sensor technology to. She fell silent as one display shifted to show a live feed of the approaching Valoran fleet, still days away from Earth at conventional speeds. Your fold space technology leaves distinctive quantum ripples, Dr. Zhang explained. We developed detection systems capable of tracking them 200,000 years ago. Captain Loreth felt increasingly uneasy. His people had been spacefaring for over 3 million years, yet these humans, mere infants by comparison, had developed capabilities that matched or exceeded Valoran technology. "You've been monitoring us," he stated. "For how long?" "Since we achieved interstellar capability," Director Reed confirmed. "Approximately 320,000 years ago." Loreth's skin pulsed with shock patterns. "You've had interstellar flight for 300,000 years. Yet you never contacted us. Never revealed yourselves to the wider galaxy." Admiral Chen led them to a central platform overlooking the command floor. "Would you have welcomed us, Captain? A species that developed at an unnatural pace, or would we have been seen as a threat to be contained?" The accusation hung in the air, uncomfortable but impossible to dismiss. The Galactic Consortium had protocols for dealing with civilizations that developed too quickly: containment, observation, even isolation if necessary. "We needed to be ready," Reed added. "Ready for when you returned." A new holographic display activated, showing Earth's solar system from above. At first, it appeared normal: planets in their orbits, the asteroid belt, the gas giants farther out. Then, at a gesture from Admiral Chen, the display changed. Hundreds, then thousands of small dots appeared throughout the system. Space stations, defense platforms, concealed installations on moons and asteroids. "This is what you call our visible defense network," Chen explained. "The minimum we felt comfortable revealing upon your return." The implication was clear: they were showing only a fraction of their true capability. "Your development is remarkable," Loreth acknowledged. "But I must ask why. Why commit such resources to defense? The consortium poses no threat to evolving worlds." Dr. Zhang stepped forward. "Your outpost contained historical records, Captain. Records of 17 other civilizations the consortium had guided. Species that developed on your timetable, under your observation. Most eventually joined your consortium as client states, none as equals." Loreth wanted to object, but found he couldn't. It was true. Most species discovered by the consortium eventually became part of it, but always in subordinate roles. "We chose a different path," Admiral Chen said simply. Before Loreth could respond, an alert sounded throughout the command center. "The consortium fleet has accelerated," announced a human officer. "They'll arrive within the hour." Reed turned to Loreth. "They're using emergency protocols. Why would a diplomatic or scientific mission need such haste?" Loreth had no answer that wouldn't confirm their suspicions. "It's time we showed you one more thing," Chen said. "Something we've kept hidden until now." The shuttle carrying Loreth and his officers, accompanied by the human delegation, departed Earth's atmosphere. But instead of heading toward the approaching consortium fleet, it accelerated toward Jupiter. "The gas giants have been central to our development," Dr. Zhang explained during the journey. "Abundant resources, isolated environments for dangerous experiments, natural radiation shielding." As they approached Jupiter's orbit, Loreth was confused to see nothing unusual, just the massive planet with its swirling storms and orbiting moons. Then Admiral Chen activated a control sequence, and reality seemed to ripple. Where empty space had existed moments before, a massive structure materialized, a ring encircling Jupiter's equator, thousands of kilometers in diameter. Space stations and shipyards dotted its surface. Ships of various sizes moved between them, some larger than anything in the consortium fleet. "Quantum camouflage," Neva gasped. "Perfect quantum camouflage on a planetary scale. That's theoretically impossible." "Theory is just what we haven't proven yet," Dr. Zhang replied with a small smile. The shuttle docked with one of the largest stations. As they disembarked, Loreth and his officers witnessed humans working alongside machines and what appeared to be other biological forms, some humanoid, others entirely alien. "Are those?" Tallis couldn't finish the question. "We are not alone in our journey," Chen confirmed. "Over the centuries, we've encountered other species that the consortium overlooked or dismissed. Some have joined us. They entered a vast chamber overlooking a shipyard where vessels of incredible size were under construction. Through massive viewports, Loreth could see Jupiter's swirling surface below, providing breathtaking scale to the human achievement. This facility represents 300,000 years of human innovation, Reed explained, not just in technology, but in philosophy. We built all this not because we feared your return, but because we refused to accept arbitrary limitations on our potential. A new alert sounded. An officer approached Admiral Chen. The consortium fleet has arrived, Admiral. They're demanding to speak with Captain Loreth and his team immediately. Chen turned to Loreth. Your colleagues seem concerned, Captain. Shall we ease their minds? On the main view screen, the image of High Commander Velik appeared, one of the consortium's most senior military leaders. His skin displayed aggressive dominance patterns. Captain Loreth, report your status immediately, Velik demanded. Our sensors detect you aboard an unknown facility with potential hostiles. Before Loreth could respond, Admiral Chen stepped forward. High Commander Velik, I am Admiral Helena Chen of Earth. Captain Loreth and his team are our honored guests, not hostages. Velik's skin flashed with alarm patterns. Human, this matter doesn't concern you. We are here to extract our research team and evaluate your world's development status. With 3 warships, Commander? Chen asked pointedly. That seems excessive for a scientific mission. Velik paused, clearly reassessing the situation. Our protocols require appropriate security measures when encountering anomalous development patterns. Anomalous. Reed repeated the word with a cold smile. Because we didn't develop on your preferred schedule. The consortium has overseen the development of thousands of species, Velik countered. We have learned that certain developmental patterns indicate instability and potential aggression, like bringing warships to a first contact scenario. Chen suggested. The tension was palpable. Loreth realized both sides were dangerously close to escalation. Perhaps, he interjected, we should focus on establishing diplomatic relations rather than debating development theories. Velik's attention shifted to Loreth. Captain, your preliminary report indicated potential containment issues. The Council authorized me to implement Directive 7 Alpha if necessary. The human showed no reaction, but Loreth felt his inner membranes contract with shock. Directive 7 Alpha was the consortium's most severe containment protocol, essentially planetary quarantine, by force if needed. That won't be necessary, Commander, Loreth said carefully. The humans have achieved remarkable development through ingenuity, not aggression. They pose no threat to the consortium. I will make that determination, Velik replied sharply. Admiral Chen had been quiet, but now she stepped forward again. Commander Velik, perhaps a demonstration would help you understand our position. At her gesture, the quantum camouflage concealing Earth's true capabilities began to dissolve system-wide. The consortium sensors would suddenly detect thousands of defense platforms, hundreds of ships, installations throughout the system, all previously invisible. On screen, Velik's skin rippled with alarm patterns. What is this deception? Not deception, Commander. Prudence. Chen's voice remained calm. We revealed only what was necessary until we understood your intentions. Another display activated, showing Earth ships appearing near each consortium vessel. Ships that had been there all along, maintaining perfect positioning without being detected. Had you come in peace, none of this would have been necessary, Chen continued. We have no desire for conflict. In fact, we wish to establish diplomatic relations with the consortium, as equals, not subjects. Velik's aggression patterns faded, replaced by calculation signals. For a long moment, he said nothing, clearly communicating with others off-screen. The consortium has existed for millions of years, he finally said. In that time, we have encountered thousands of species, but never one that developed as you have. Your capabilities are unprecedented. Because your models didn't account for motivation, Dr. Zhang interjected. When your outpost told us we weren't worthy of contact for another 1,000,000 years, you gave us something invaluable. A challenge. Loreth stepped forward then, understanding dawning. Commander, I believe I understand what happened here. The humans didn't just find our technology, they found our judgment of them. Their entire civilization developed in response to our assessment. Is this true? Velik asked the humans. Admiral Chen nodded. Your people deemed us unworthy of the stars. We decided to prove you wrong. The revelation seemed to shift something in Velik's demeanor. His skin patterns changed to diplomatic receptivity. The Consortium Council will need to consider this unprecedented situation, he said finally. In the meantime, I am authorized to establish preliminary diplomatic relations. We welcome the opportunity, Chen replied. As equals. Velik paused, then nodded. As potential equals, your development may be unprecedented, but trust must be earned. We've had 500,000 years to prepare for this moment, Commander, Chen said with a slight smile. We can be patient a little longer. 3 days later, Captain Loreth stood in Earth's orbital diplomatic center alongside Admiral Chen and Director Reed. Through the viewports, they could see both the Earth and Consortium vessels in formation, no longer poised for conflict, but maintaining careful distance. The Council has ratified the preliminary agreement, Loreth informed them. Earth will be recognized not as a developing world, but as an independent spacefaring civilization with rights to this system and your existing colonies, and our technology. Reed asked directly. Yours to keep and develop, Loreth confirmed, though the Consortium would welcome scientific exchange. On equal terms, Chen emphasized. On equal terms, Loreth agreed. The Council is adjusting to this new reality. Some factions are concerned about your rate of development. Others are fascinated by it. And you, Captain? Dr. Zhang asked, joining them. What do you think of humanity now? Loreth's skin displayed thoughtful patterns. I think you've accomplished something remarkable. 500,000 years ago, we judged your species as primitive and unready. Yet when given just a glimpse of what was possible, you not only survived but thrived, advancing beyond our most optimistic projections. He looked out at the stars beyond. Perhaps the Consortium has been too rigid in its thinking. Perhaps we've been wrong about how civilizations should develop. Admiral Chen stood beside him. Or perhaps different paths lead to the same destination. We developed quickly because we had to, because we knew you were out there and wanted to be ready. And now? Loreth asked. Now we move forward, she replied. We have much to learn from each other, and the galaxy is vast. As Loreth prepared to return to his ship, he felt something he hadn't expected, optimism. His mission to document a primitive world had instead discovered something unprecedented, a species that had taken its destiny into its own hands and reshaped its future. The Consortium had returned expecting to find primitive apes. Instead, they found equals, perhaps even future leaders, and that, Loreth realized, was the greatest discovery of all. Outside the viewports, Earth shone blue and green against the black of space, no longer an isolated world but the newest member of the galactic community. Not because the Consortium had deemed them ready, but because humans had made themselves impossible to ignore. Humanity had looked to the stars and decided their place was among them, and now no force in the galaxy could tell them otherwise.